vehicles. So we just received that saying this is what the town did.
But does it go back to the general fund, to your general fund?
I don't know that, that'd be a question for Christine.
I believe it does.
Wait a minute. Who put out these bids? I mean, where did they go to?
I went to,
No. Where did they go to? In other words, where did these bids, did the town administrator put this out, or did our department put out requesting bids for these cars?
I think finance did. The town has a policy on how that works,
So finance put out a bid process,
as far as I know.
advertising.
Lieutenant McDaniel would have
but
worked
that
with them to
wasn't,
get
it wasn't, following our discussion. Our discussion, when, the chairman of the town council came, we asked, in the event that we had vehicles that we were no longer using, could we use them as trade-ins? How did we get there?
the finance. Apparently, I just got that myself. Finance apparently was following their bid process, and after the highway department manager looked at the vehicles and thought that they probably wasn't worth keeping them for, as I said, parts for the future, finance went forward and the town went forward and completed the process.
But don't we have to sign off on it?
Yeah, it sounds like they,
Did we
and
give
and I
them
don't
the
wanna accuse anybody of anything, but it sounds like somebody circumvented us.
It did not come before the council, I can speak to that for sure, that was not something we voted on or authorized, so my recommendation would be to talk to the town administrator
Trader,
and
that's a good point, yep,
gain some more insight into that, because
yep,
on its face, it does appear
right.
But these are
questionable.
police department vehicles, right? In order for the town to do anything, there has to be a release from the police department to the town administrator, and then the town administrator can go forward to do it however they see fit. But how do we get from here to there?
When we talked about cutting the fleet down,
Right.
and those vehicles were taken out of service.
Right.
When their vehicles are taken out of service, the policy has been for years, the vehicle goes, the town does whatever they're gonna do with it. Sometimes they've kept it for park, sometimes they've been.
But we were having a discussion, and I thought it was understood that the council was gonna take up what we had talked about with our meeting with Bill Cyrack and yourself
Right.
and myself, that is it possible to use these vehicles as
I
trade-in?
understand.
Then to have this happen,
Yep. And when I
what
got-
happened
right.
that we
And when-
missed in the
Right.
translation?
And when I received that, I think it was yesterday, I received it, I called the
15th.
highway,
This shows the 15th. I'm sorry, received, it
Was
shows
that
19th, yeah. 19th,
I
yes.
called the highway department manager and I said, you know, we've been having discussions about highway doing our vehicles and,
Sure.
and, you know, we had discussion about that the 4 vehicles that were here may or may not be valuable for parts. And I said, I just got this thing from finance saying that, or from the administrator, saying that the town was taking this action. And I said, I thought that we were waiting to see, you know, what was gonna happen.
Yeah, they were gonna bring, he was gonna bring it
Right,
to the
and-
council for
and-
discussion.
Right, and the highway department manager told me that he had looked at the 4 cars and then had talked with finance and decided they weren't valuable to keep, and finance went forward with this procedure.
I understand that, but even in the past, prior to this commission sitting on this commission, anytime that we had a car that we no longer wanted to keep, it automatically went to the highway department or town?
Yeah, went to the highway.
Just automatic, so
Yeah.
what do? Just call them up and say, hey, we got a car we don't need anymore, and it gets sent to...
When we're done with its life cycle with
Right.
us,
Right.
it would go to the town, considering that it's all town property, it would go to the town. And highway department, who used to always do the maintenance, would determine whether the vehicle was suitable to give to another agency in town, whether it should be kept for parts, or whether it
Right.
should be junked.
Okay.
Well, what happened to our discussion?
I don't know.
Well, who authorized them to, or who authorized the town administrator to advertise 4 Crown Victorias for sale? I guess would be my question.
I'd have to go back to Lieutenant McDaniels, but I would guess that as soon as we took them off the road, we started our process to get rid of them, so we notified the town. And that kicked off their process.
But
For surplus
don't you
equipment.
come here and tell us that you're thinking of that? Is that what happened, that's what triggered it?
No, once you guys take them off, it's up to.
Not necessarily. If there was precedent and a policy that once something came out of the life cycle for the department ended and it went to the town, and I think talking to Dean Schenkel would be the way to go here, just.
Right.
But it sounds like he executed a policy that's been in place, and there's just a disconnect in the communication, which is easily rectified. Talk to Dean, find out what went on here, get an answer, and then have a decision.
The registration of the vehicles for highway, the registration for vehicles for the police department. Police department, the titles on those vehicles are made out to Town of Hooksett, they're made out to Hooksett Police Department. Who owns these cars? I know it's owned by
Right.
collectively by the
Over
town.
the years, different, sometimes it says the town of Hooksett, sometimes it says it says Hooksett Police Department. I've seen it both ways since the early 80s. But the precedent, if you will, has been that it's a town vehicle, that the town owns. When any department is done with a vehicle, it would go to highway, and we would see if there was any other useful life for it somewhere else in the community.
Okay, so this was sent out August 26th at 2 o'clock for this particular bid number, right? 11-02. Sale of surplus vehicles, August 26, 2011 at 2 p.m.
That's when the town sent it out, Commissioner? Is that,
That's
because
what-
August 26th would have been, that would have been the interim, that would have been Steve Griffin, because Dean didn't take office till September 1st.
First, you're right.
Okay,
So there could have been a disconnect, again, that's why I'm.
No, I understand, I'm just trying to understand what the sequence is.
Mhm.
And out of these going out, I mean, where did they go? I mean, I never saw an advertisement for it. That doesn't mean it wasn't out there, but we
We're going
have,
to Staten Island.
huh?
Going to Staten Island.
Yeah, I'm just looking at, it looks like there was only 2 bids that came in out of all of this, out of 4, 2 bids came in. I mean,
Well, again, and then I got that yesterday, made the call, and that's why I'm bringing it to your attention
Yeah.
tonight, because Commissioner McHugh was right. We had a separate discussion about
use them as
alternate ways
trade-ins.
of doing the vehicles. And
It was just it was a question for
Right, and it was-
the council to
Right,
entertain
and I
in
had
your
a separate
discussion.
discussion
Could
with
we
the,
use them as a police department as trade-ins for the next new vehicle, right?
If you'd like, if you want to make a copy of that, I'm more than happy to take that directly to Dean Schenkel for
Well,
you.
what you can
Yeah,
do,
there's 3
you don't
copies if you
you
want.
don't have to even make a copy. I'll give you my copy because the other commissioners have copies.
Okay.
I mean, those are, it looks like, according to this, that there's 4 bids, excuse me, 2 bids
Christine, 2 on the process.
for 4 vehicles for $7,112 for all 4 cars. According to that. So.
But I think there's a difference if you're using the vehicles for trade-ins, and then when we are looking to purchase vehicles, that we get some of that trade-in allowance, as opposed to selling the vehicles and it going back to the general fund.
Right.
It's not that I'm selfish, but I mean, it belongs in the department that,
Right.
And that comes out to $1,778 per vehicle. I don't know.
According to what I see here, somebody got, I'm going to assume, a 90,000 mile Crown Vic 2006 for $1,989.
Correct.
It's a good deal.
very good.
Which is why when we first got the information, when I first got the information verbally that it was 7,000 something, I said, my opinion was no. I know what used cars go for. We used to
Well,
get
that's
more than
why,
that in
that's
the
why
90s.
I brought it up to,
I know, and like I said, I get that in yesterday, I get that
Councilman
yesterday.
Syrac.
I know.
You know,
I
we were
understand.
losing, you know, the investment that was made by this department. And I didn't think it was
Right.
appropriate, given the fact that,
That money will go into the general fund?
I can't, I
that's
don't know for
probably where it
sure.
will go.
I will have answers on all this tomorrow.
Thank you, thank you.
And again, looking at the attendees, I think there's even an additional confounding factor when you look at, it was Liz, Evelyn, and Mary. I think Steve may not have even been there, because those were
Right.
the interim when. So I think there's this is muddy, there's no question.
Right. I really would appreciate it, and I thank you for doing that. I don't mean to cause problems. but-
You're not causing problems.
I'm gonna make a motion that we accept the payroll manifest of September 15, 2011, in the amount of $38,010.65.
I'll second
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
that.
Aye, opposed? Okay, we're all done with that.
Can I just ask one quick question here?
Are these the ones that are all pulled, make sure they all go together,
I
okay,
just have
thank you.
one question that was, the free training that was offered by Manchester Police Department. Is that a per diem rate for lunches during training?
Yes.
Can we go in this one? Is that the one?
Yes.
Okay, let's put them here. We'll see that they haven't been. Okay, it's all done, Chief. Okay, moving right along. Items for the next agenda. You have a couple of things, Chief, that you're gonna be bringing back to us. Some of the questions.
Yeah, any questions you have, I write them down. and I
The
will
CIP,
bring them back.
the
Right.
CIP, we need to do
Yeah.
that, and to find out from Christine whether or not it will be okay
Right.
to submit if we have anything with regard to a computer or whatnot.
Yeah.
And then you have a number of other items.
Right, yeah, CIP, update we're gonna bring back the information on that freight repair question as far as what, if one way or the other was better. You wanted a question on the community service line from August, I'll have to dig back,
Right.
dig back on that, we'll get that back for you. I'm gonna check with Christine as far as the special detail information and, what was the background behind that. Council rep's gonna check on the vehicle, on that issue.
Yep.
And we're gonna get you a map for the sections, so the next time
Right.
you get that, you'll get a better idea of what the sections are.
Mhm.
Unless I'm missing something, that's all I had in my notes.
We'll talk about that now.
Okay. And you need me to sign this?
Is that for Sidle Breck?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's the change in pay grade because of this.
We need to talk about this in non-public.
Okay, well then we'll hold it. So the other thing is, we can't do the August 30th because he did not get the minutes, so those are out.
I didn't realize I had the minutes.
Oh, you do?
I do have them, they were stapled to the outside, I thought that was the memo saying this is what's in the.
Did you have a chance to read them or not? We can postpone it.
Not while we're sitting here, I prefer to postpone.
Okay, thank you.
Table?
Yeah, need a motion to table the August 30th, 2011.
I'll second if you make it.
I so moved.
Second.
All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The last thing is public input. And it does say 5 minutes, but let me advise folks here that the commission is contemplating, I'm using the word contemplating, going to 3 minutes, and I'll tell you the reason why. In the last 2 months, we have been here probably 11:30, around that time. And not that we want to cut people off, but we're thinking about it, we're considering it.
Or
I think you still have a